Thanks for downloading the Look Away Now podcast. For more information about Radio 4 comedy, please go to bbc.co.uk/Radio 4. All one word.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed, and welcome to a new series of Look Away Now, the show that mixes sport and comedy, a bit like Newcastle United. Michael Vaughan, England's most successful captain, has announced his retirement from cricket. Although under the laws of cricket, he'll be allowed to come back later if he's feeling better. Max Mosley has agreed to step down as a meeting to save Formula One. Mosley had endured a lot of harsh treatment recently, but he kindly took a break from that to attend the meeting. In football, Cristiano Ronaldo has completed his move from Manchester United to Real Madrid. Some claimed he never really fitted in with the other players at Old Trafford. He was arrogant, greedy and selfish, so at least he was trying to fit in. So, Andy Murray has been the focus of home attention at this year's Wimbledon. Not surprisingly, really, as all the other British players disappeared quicker than Mark Pugac when it's his round. Well, here's how some of them perished.
Georgie Stoop needs to hold her serve here. And you have to say a better player would have gone for overarm.
Jamie Ward in total control here on court number 17. But oh dear, his opponent Fernando Verdasco has now shown up. Disaster.
Elena Baltaccia here showing deeply uncharacteristic nerve to have made it through to round two. She's going to have to do something pretty special to get knocked out of the... Oh, yes. Yes, she's drunk too much Evian water and she has drowned.
A heartwarming display here on court 2. Patricia Mayer of Austria entertaining the crowd by knocking the ball around with one of the ball girls, who really doesn't look like she was expecting this when she got up this morning. Oh, good gracious, I'm just being told that that's not a ball girl, but actually British number one Anne Keothabong.
Young British hopeful Laura Robson looking genuinely surprised to have been knocked out of the first round of Wimbledon. It's hard to know whether to admire her tenacity or despise her ignorance of historical precedents.
Well, on to rugby now, and the British and Irish Lions lost the second test in Pretoria on Saturday, which condemns them to a series defeat. The game was overshadowed by South Africa's Skulk Burgers' eye-gouging of Lions winger Luke Fitzgerald. Springbok head coach Peter de Villiers stunned the press by initially describing the extremely lenient yellow card that was given to Burger as too harsh. Well, I sincerely hope he's on the jury at my drink driving trial next week. Peter joins us on the line from South Africa. Peter, hello.
Hello there, Gary.
Now, I understand you've since apologised for defending Burger's actions. Is that correct?
I have, yes, Gary. It was never my intention to condone foul play. But people came to that stadium on Saturday to see a game of rugby, not to see a bunch of 11-year-old girls writing in their diaries about who they'd like to smooch.
But Peter, if you or I gouge someone's eye in the street, we'd be thrown into prison.
Yes, Gary, but rugby pitch is not the street. Do you think in the real world you could wrestle a man to the ground, steal his ball and run away? Of course not. On the rugby field, nothing is truly illegal.
Do you really believe that, though, Peter?
Absolutely. It's part and parcel of rugby that you'll always get the occasional friendly gouge, a little bit of head-butting, a spot of bigamy.
Sorry, bigamy?
Yeah, bigamy. It's an old South African sporting tradition. It helps them to bond as a team.
But bigamy, it's highly illegal, isn't it?
Like I said, Gary, on the rugby field, anything goes. Our scrum is currently defrauding the government out of 1.2 billion South African rand. And our halfbacks are in the middle of a big identity theft racket. Forey Dupreez is currently masquerading as Lions fly half Stephen Jones. And Ruan Pienaar has recently adopted the identity of a hooker.
What, Matthew Rees?
No, a prostitute, Gary. He's been soliciting from the touchline for drug money. I don't expect you to understand, Gary. It's hard to explain to those who have not actually played rugby at international level for South Africa. But rugby teams exist in a sort of legal limbo. 9 of our starting 15 would be arrested and immediately executed if they ever left the rugby pitch.
So what you're saying is you have no intention of reining in your team's violent behaviour?
Of course not. After all, what is it they say? Football is a game for gentlemen played by thugs. Rugby is a game for thugs played by South Africans.
Coming up in July, only on Setanta, it's the one you've been waiting for. Live and exclusive coverage of...
Now, Test Match Special, with its ball-by-ball coverage and gallery of eccentric cricketing characters, is as much a staple of the British summer as Glyndebourne or Lyme disease. So here at Look Away Now, we thought we'd stick our own team of former cricketers in an outside broadcast van and get them to do some live commentary for us. Unfortunately, we couldn't get any rights to actual cricket, so instead we sent them to cover a summer wedding. Let's dip into a bit of wedding special with your commentary team of ex-Australian all-rounder Glenn Shane and the one-time Dorset captain STD de Glanville.
I'm not claiming any particular expertise in this area, but I do feel, Glenn, that if tomatoes really are fruit, as the scientists claim, that copy of the order of service left alone there by Auntie Edith, and it goes harmlessly through to the verger, then we ought to follow that logic through and eat them for dessert.
Yeah, I reckon you may have lost your marbles there, ST.
Not the first time that's been said. And the organist just plays that bit of bark gently back up the aisle there. And the score remains on the music stand in front of him.
But it would explain why we've been sent this disgusting tomato cake. You tried it?
Not as yet, Glenn. No, I'm still too full up from the cousin Jeff just steered into the groomside pews there by the usher. And one guest is added to the total. Too full up from the tomato donuts. So, slow going at the moment. Is that fair to say, Glenn?
It's tedious, this, mate. This bride's at least 20 minutes late now, and for my money, the officials need to step in here and time her out.
Well, it's controversial stuff. There, from Glenn. That is what we pay him for, I suppose. Actually, perhaps our resident statistician, Phil Brindle, might be able to look up the last time a bride was timed out for late arrival. I can't remember ever seeing it myself.
You want that now, do you?
You wouldn't mind, Phil?
Right.
Oh, look out. Here she is. Well, it's about time, love.
OK, now, do you think this delay will have affected the groom, Glenn?
Look, it shouldn't do, mate. As a groomsman, you want to set your stall out early and let the bride come onto you. But ideally, you'd want her coming onto you a bit quicker than this.
So, here comes the bride. Running in now from the door end.
Hyderabad 1934 STD was the last time a bride was dismissed for being too late for her own wedding.
Thanks, Phil, for that.
Well, this one's going to give that one a run for its money if this Sheila doesn't pick her knees up.
A little harsh there, Glenn.
Oh, I'm sorry, Clapper. That's right. You're the wedding expert, aren't you? How many times have you been jilted at the altar now?
Just the once, in fact. So, not yet what you'd call a pattern.
Figures for the groom stag do, STD. He was at the bar for 237 minutes, drank 63 drinks with 8 ports and 2 sicks. His partnership with a stripper lasted 18 minutes and added 150 quid plus extras to the overall cost.
And the Great Britain 4x100 metre relay team prepare for the Olympic final. Look, I know they're going to drop the baton, you know they're going to drop the baton, they know they're going to drop the baton. And there it goes, they dropped the baton.
Well, we move on now to the shady and controversial subject of match fixing. In recent months, there have been reports of suspect betting patterns across a number of high-profile sports and snooker, prompting the government to launch a new sports betting integrity panel. Well, now, generally, Look Away Now doesn't allow people to appear on the show anonymously. The nearest we came, of course, was that interview with the British tennis number 2. But seriously, a senior figure in one of the major betting syndicates has agreed to appear on the show, provided, that is, we keep his identity secret. So welcome to the show the man we'll be referring to as Mr. Big.
No, Gary, I'm not the real Mr. Big. I'm just Mr. Big's representative in the UK.
So how would you like us to refer to you?
Mr. Big-ish.
Well, OK, welcome to the show, Mr. Biggish. So how long...
How's the missus, Gary? And your little girls?
They're fine.
Well, that's good, isn't it? Peace of mind, eh?
Right. Well, can we start with the most recent allegation? Betting was suspended last week on an obscure first-round Wimbledon match when very high sums were bet on the favourite, Jürgen Melzer. Were you behind that, Mr. Biggish?
I really can't say.
Well, then maybe we should move on.
Mind you, I'm not saying that I wasn't.
So you're saying that match was fixed?
I'm not saying nothing.
OK, well, let me ask you this. If a betting syndicate wanted to fix a tennis match like that, how would they go about it?
Well, obviously, you've got to get to the guys who matter, the ones that are going to be out there on the court.
Oh, so you target the players?
No, the ball boys. They're the weak link. They'll do anything for an extra carton of Ribena. Buy the ball boys and you've got the match sewn up.
But what can the ball boys do?
If you don't get given the balls, you can't serve, can you?
Well, moving on then, it seems that betting syndicates such as yours tend now to target more low-profile sporting events, non-league football or obscure cricket matches. Why is that?
Because good sportsmen these days cost a bloody fortune to bribe. Couldn't you imagine how hard it would be to get Peter Crouch in your pocket? To be honest with you, the art's gone out of that old match-fixing game. Time was a couple of pints, few words here and there, and you could arrange for Dagenham and Redbridge to stick 6 past Barcelona. Nowadays, people smell of rats.
So what do you do?
We've got to move with the times, you know, be a bit cuter. So we found a new system. Back the favourite with a sensible amount of money. Do that many, many times. We call that spread fixing.
But I have to ask you, I don't see where the actual fixing is in that system.
No, you can't, can you? That's the beauty of it. It looks totally legal.
Yeah, because it is.
I'm glad we understand each other. You're a good boy, Gary. We could use a man like you.
What do you want me to do, Biggish?
We want your tips on the horses, Gary. We could use an insight like yours.
But I give out my tips on the Today programme every morning.
Not the bogus tips you feed to the bovine British public, Gary. I want the real ones, the ones you use.
But those are my real tips.
And I thought Willie Carson was a muppet.
Mr. Biggish, thank you very much for joining us. Well, time now for our music in sport correspondent, Richie Webb. Richie, what have you been looking into this week for us?
Well, Gary, I've been thinking about the England 2018 Football World Cup bid. I had a look at the website and there were videos of Prince William, Beckham and the like lending their support, but it was all a bit dry. So I thought, I know what this needs.
An ill-conceived song promoting the bid containing cameo endorsements from major celebrities and public figures?
Have you been reading my diary? Anyway, that, scarily, is exactly what I thought, and I'd like to perform the song for you now, but obviously all the hugely famous people I've written it for can't be here tonight, so if you wouldn't mind playing the parts for me. Lawrence, can you take the first part? Catherine, second, Dave, third, and so on. Join in with the choruses if you can. Excellent, OK, here we go. I put out the call across the land to come and join my celebrity band. And did they come? Indeed they did. to pledge their support for England's World Cup bid. Back the bid, an opportunity no one wants to miss. And if you don't believe me, just listen to this. Lawrence, you're up first.
I'm Brad Pitt, the movie star. And although this might sound quite bizarre, I'm backing your bid for 2018, even though soccer's a game I've never actually seen.
Brilliant! And Catherine, you're next.
I'm that newsreader, Natasha Kaplinsky. I'm so up for this, I don't know where to begin, Ski. I truly hope that England can win, Ski. If not, we'll just have to take it on the chin, Ski.
Okay, that's great. Okay, Dave.
I'm Gok Wan.
Yeah, do the voice, Dave, do the voice.
I'm Gok Wan and I like clothes.
Brilliant.
I'm always on the telly doing makeover shows. This bid is something I'm happy to endorse, not least as it involves men wearing tight shorts. Can I actually say that?
Okay, you're next, Gary.
I'm appealing to my millions of fans to get behind these World Cup plans. Perhaps you could design a supportive banner like me, Miley Cyrus, off of Hannah Montana.
Okay, are you ready then, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, and go.
I'm Alan Carr.
Yeah, do the voice, Dave. Do the voice.
Why am I getting all the camp ones?
Okay, skip that one.
I'm Julian Clary.
Yeah. Let's just go to Lawrence. 2, 3, 4.
I'm happy to join your supportive band, especially if you're offering cash in hand. I'd back anything if the price was right. I'm Garry Richardson. Thank you and good night.
Back the bid. The great and the good are queuing up, because they want us to host the one after the one after the next World Cup. Back the bid.
Richie, can I just ask you, how many of those are actually confirmed?
Just you, Gary.
Well, it's bloody good money, to be fair. Richie Webb, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Richie Webb.
And Andy Murray serves match point down. What a shot by the British number one. Oh, hang on, it's out. The useless Scotsman has lost.
So the Test series between England and Australia is now just a week away. For many people, the Ashes will be the sporting highlight of the summer. Although for me, they're going to come a distant second to absolutely thrashing my nephew at swing ball. So as the England team begins its final warm-up match, I'm delighted to say we're joined on the line now from Edgbaston by England star batsman Kevin Peterson.
Hello, Garry Robertson. Kevin Peterson speaking. Hello.
Kevin, first of all, thank you for joining us. How's your fitness? Because you've been nursing an injury recently, haven't you?
That's right, Garry Robertson. I've had an Achilles strain. It's weird because it was Achilles whose only weakness was his Achilles. So logically, you'd think I should have been injured in the Kevin Peterson. But there is no body part called the Kevin Peterson, Gary.
Kevin, let me ask you this. At the start of the year, you'd have been looking forward to leading England into the Ashes series as captain. How much does it actually hurt you that you're not going to be doing that?
Why does everybody keep asking me about the bloody captain? For a moment, sir. Listen, Gary, the captaincy thing, it's an issue of the past. It's like the video recorder or witchcraft. It's not about me. It's about the team. After all, there's no I in Kevin Peterson.
There are two I's in Kevin Peterson. Kevin?
Not anymore, Gary. I had them both removed by deed poll. People often assume I pronounce my name as Kevin Peterson because of my South African accent. But I am, in fact, being 110% phonetic.
Now, the big story. Michael Vaughan announced his retirement from cricket yesterday at the age of just 34. Were you surprised by that decision, Kevin?
Absolutely, Gary. The point at which I would consider retiring from international cricket is when I'm dead. And even then, I may well play on at county level for at least 2 years.
What did you make of the omission from England's training squad of both Vaughan and Steve Harmison?
I felt almost physically violated by it, Gary. For me, Vaughanie and Harmy have to be in the side every time.
So you'd have picked Vaughan ahead of Ian Bell or Ravi Bopara, would you?
No way. I'd have Belly and Ravi in the side every time.
So where does that leave Paul Collingwood?
It leaves Collingwood exactly where he should be, in the side every time.
Sorry, so does that mean...
Right, Gary, this is what it means. If it was up to me, the England lineup would be as follows. Strauss, Cook, Vaughan, Bell, Peterson, Bopara, Collingwood, Peterson, Pryor, Flintoff, Harmison, Peterson, Bradman, Mendonca, Ward, Peterson, Beckham, Federer, Spider-Man, Peterson, Skywalker, Panesar, Peterson, Kong, Ballesteros, Pew, Barney the Groom, Cuthbert, Dibble, Peterson, with Graham Onions as 33rd man. But for some reason, it's such certain the MCC just won't let it happen.
Kevin Peterson, thank you.
OK, gotta go, bye.
Well, now on to tennis, the bastard child of shinty and picnics. Out on the courts, it's been a superb Wimbledon championship so far, but what about all the work that goes on behind the scenes? Well, our technology and sport correspondent, Dave Lamb, joins us from Wimbledon with a special report on one of the unsung heroes of SW19, Hawkeye. Dave.
Yep, thanks, Gary. Well, we've all seen it at the cricket and the tennis, with its curving lines making the crowd go, ooh, yay. But how does the Hawkeye system actually work? I'm joined by the man who runs Hawkeye here at Wimbledon, Liam Thomas. Hello, Liam.
Hello.
Hello. So, how does it all work, then?
Well, basically, we have a series of cameras and laser sensors set up all around centre court, which relay back into this data bank behind me.
And what's your role?
My main job is to turn it on before the tennis starts, and and this is very important. Off again after the tennis is finished.
And that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
There you have it, Gary. Back to you.
I don't think so, Dave. You've got 3 minutes to fill, actually.
Right. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Right, well, now, Liam, you must have some funny stories about things that have happened with Hawkeye.
It's just a computer, really. It correlates data.
Well, that is excellent, certainly. But of course, I suppose the thing that we all love about Hawkeye is that, in a way, it can see into the future, can't it?
No, it can't.
No, but I'm wondering if it could tell you if a girl that you've met is going to turn out to be the one.
No.
Right, well, I wonder what would happen if I plugged this loose cable into it.
It is vital that you don't do that.
Why, lose your job, would you? Why should I help you do your job? You're certainly not helping me do mine.
Please, you don't understand.
Oops. Too late.
You idiot!
Download complete. New analysis begins now.
What's going on?
No, it can't be. This can't be happening.
Dave. Typical, that was never 3 minutes.
And Andrew Strauss lifts the Ashes urn aloft and hands it over to the winning captain, Ricky Ponting.
From the creators of Looking for Eric comes a new story about a man in the depths of despair.
I've lost my job, my manager's in tatters, and the bailiffs are coming to repossess my kids.
Who meets his footballing hero in the strangest of circumstances.
I can't believe it's really you.
Oh, so I'm a liar now, am I? You son of a...
Premiership Pictures proudly presents Looking for Joey Budd. Coming soon to a prison near you.
Well, now, when I get angry and out of control, I like to count to 10, do a crossword, or simply down a bottle of scotch. But other people, they call the Look Away Now rant line.
Hello? Is that Garry Richardson? I got your number from Mr. Biggish, who's an associate of mine. I need to have a word with you. Basically, one of your tips on the Today programme actually won. And I've lost rather a large sum of money. Would be nice to have a little chat.
Yeah, I've got a problem with Wimbledon having a roof. Right, how will the Wombles decide whether it's underground or overground?
Snooker has gone rubbish. What's up with the players these days? Whenever I watch it on the BBC, there's always a red ball left in the top right-hand corner.
Right, a little earlier in the show, we had some technical gremlins in our live link-up with Wimbledon, but I'm pleased to say we can once again now join technology and sport correspondent Dave Lamb, who's at the championship to see the Hawkeye system in action. Dave.
Garry, we need help here. Send help.
What's going on, Dave?
The apocalypse, Garry! Hawkeye has become self-aware and is currently destroying the world as we know it.
Dave, how's this happened?
Well, you know that cable I was messing around with?
Yep.
Turns out I plugged Hawkeye directly into the internet, thus allowing it access to the sum total of human knowledge, as well as an awful lot of porn.
My God.
There is no God, Garry. Just the machine. I really must hold my hand up here and say, oops, my bad.
And presumably all this could really have an impact on Roger Federer's attempt to regain the Wimbledon title.
Well, not so much as the fact that he's dead, Garry. It's absolute carnage here. Centre court is going to need a new roof. And the net's going to have to be totally restrung because at the moment the old one's being used to collect up all the smouldering skeletons and discarded human skulls.
So what you're saying is play's not going to start for a while.
For heaven's sake, Garry, don't you understand? Sue Barker is on fire!
She certainly is, Dave. She certainly is. And you know, I thought I was the only one who'd noticed.
There is one hope for us, Garry. Even as we speak, a band of plucky survivors do remain. The Resistance, led by Tim Henman. A man who doesn't know how to lay down and die, how to give up, how to surrender.
To the semi-finals, at least.
What's that?
Nothing. So what's the plan?
To stop Hawkeye before it was ever created, using a combination of irradiated strawberries, John McEnroe's corpse, and an abundance of discarded copies of the Daily Mail. The Resistance have managed to fashion a machine to teleport Andy Murray to the year 2000, with a mission to hunt down and kill Hawkeye's inventor. And there was also just enough power left over to fire Greg Rusetsky back in time as well.
And what was his mission?
His mission?
Well, here's hoping Murray's successful.
Well, if he is, we'll never know about it due to the peculiarities of temporal dynamics. But that's tennis for you, Garry.
That's all from Look Away Now. Next week, after Skulkberger's ban has raised the debate over eye gouging in rugby, we look at worrying reports that it may also be on the increase in snooker. And we'll be asking, where do Newcastle United go from here? Well, Doncaster, Scunthorpe and Peterborough for a start.
Look Away Now was presented by Garry Richardson with Lawrence Howarth, Dave Lamb, Richie Webb, Miles Jupp, Alan Ford and Catherine Jakeways. It was written by the cast, Danielle Ward, Humphrey Carr, David Reed and James Sherwood, with additional material by Colin Birch, Eddie Robson, Richard Ward and Andrew Douglas. The music was by Richie Webb and Look Away Now was produced by Ben Walker. Thanks for downloading the Look Away Now podcast. For more information about Radio 4 comedy, please go to bbc.co.uk/Radio 4. All one word.